Hey guys, Christopher Aaron here with Lonza Healing Hair Care. Thank you guys so much for joining me in my salon suite in Chicago, Illinois. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to do a dimensional brunette balayage. So we're going to be working with some very copper tones to enhance my client's hair. This is my client Chi right here. As you guys can all see, we've already gone through and done her root touch-up. We used 6NN and 6C with 20 volume. So we're trying to create enough warmth, but still keeping it in a like brunette phase, but still give it a lot more pop for the summer. So we've done her color touch-up all over. The first thing we did is we sprayed step 1 color attach throughout the whole entire head before her to make sure those gray coverage would really hit. Now, whenever I'm working with gray coverage and I'm doing my client, I always make sure to take a thin, nice section. The thinner the section, the better the coverage. You want to make sure you hit both sides of your client's hair. So when going in, if this is my brush, I'm going to sweep this way and also sweep this way, taking very fine sections like this. Very see-through, very nice and even, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to go in and create our dimension. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go in with a horizontal section right there in front, and we are going to weave through. We're going to lift up that first section, and we are going to take our foil and lay it right underneath. With this first section, I'm going to create more of my brightness around her face. So I'm going to go in with our powder decolorizer with 20 volume. I'm going to saturate it right there so we get that nice hold. And I'm going to work that all the way down. Now, one section you'll see I weave, the next section I'll tease. I want to create a lot of dimension through this color. So we're going to work that down all the way. And then we're going to push up. Now, the reason why I like to feather up, it gives me that nice soft blend when working with the color. So when I go back to glaze it, it's very easy to transition that color through out. Again, saturate, feather. Take that piece, fold it up out of the way. Now what we're going to do, we're going to take our next section down. So we're going to grab that out. Remember, working with very fine sections, but really nice and see-through. So what I do sometimes is when I'm going through and I need to reapply to the root to make sure that coverage is really going to work through nicely and easily. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this previous foil to my benefit. I'm going to go in with our new 6C. If you haven't tried it, it's amazing. 6C and 7NC with 30 volume. And press that all the way through. And now I'm going to feather by the ends because I'm trying to keep a little bit of that lightness around her face. So go through, saturate, and then feather. So remember, saturate with the brush this way. When you want to feather, turn it around back this way. All right, now we're going to take another piece of foil, lay it down. Do you have any questions, Marquise?
Not yet.
Oh, good. All right, so the first thing we're going to do again, take this next section down, and we're going to go through and we're going to tease this one. So teasing, nice 3 teas. Now we're going to go back with our powder decolorizer. I'm going to saturate the ends.
What was the formula?
Which formula? For the base color, for her roots was 6NN and 6C with 20 volume. And then for our color that we're pulling through in the mids and the ends, this is 6C with 7NC 30 volume. Then we have powder decolorizer with 20 volume.
Does it dry out the hair?
Does what? The powder decolorizer? No, the powder decolorizer is really amazing. One thing I love about working with Lonza is all about the health of our client's hair. So I don't ever get any damage from our decolorizer or anything like that. So what I want to do is I want to make sure we're still getting that nice blend in there, you guys. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. And then we're going to lay that right on top. So now we're going to go to this next section, and we're going to get a little bit closer and work up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and add a little bit more lightness around the face. But before I do that, I'm going to move this out of the way, use this as our foil underneath, and go back in with our 7NC and 6C. And follow that through. So we're going down. Remember, we're going to leave those ends out and feather. All we're trying to do is give her a nice, natural pop of color with still blending so it doesn't look too dramatic, but it still gives off that pop in the sun, okay? So now we're going to take that piece that we left over here and we're going to bring it over. And I'm going to use our powdery colorizer around here because I really want that lightness around her face. Again, just weaving it, saturate all the way to the end, and pull through. And now we're going to go back and feather up. If you see how nice that transition is, really easy. All our saturation is down here, and then we're feathering up. Take another piece of foil and lay that on top.
Is this being recorded?
Is this being recorded?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, everything will be saved to Lonza's page, so if you guys want to go back and look at the video, you're more than welcome to. So now we're going to go back. We're going to do our horizontal section. We're going to lift and weave out, and we're going to tease this section. After we tease it, we're going to go through and create a little bit more brightness, but on a lower spectrum right down here. So you see some pieces go up high, some pieces go down lower.
Michelle Stunkel says, "Hey Chris, hey."
Hello, Michelle Stunkel, my lovely sales rep from Salon Centric. So what we're doing is we're saturating those ends, the mid shaft, taking the brush, get really close into that, and just feathering up. Nice and easy to blend, you guys, right? All right. So, after we do that section, we're going to fold that up, and we're going to keep working our way around. So now when I get to this next section, what I'm going to do is, because we're getting up higher, I want to make sure we're creating that softness and that nice blend. So I'm going to lay that foil right underneath. I'm going to grab our pop of color, the 7NC 6C, paint that through. And then I'm going to grab our powdery colorizer and paint the end. After I do that, you see I left that little area for it to meet, right? I'm going to kind of feather that into it. Just creating that nice transition. Real easy. Nice brush. Take it down. So we have questions? Are we good? So basically the whole benefit of this, you guys, is to work smarter, not harder. Getting as much done in a timely aspect. If a client comes in, they want to do something totally different with their hair, I'm not losing a lot of time. This is something easy to brighten the hair and give a lot more pop to it without having to work so hard. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go in, we're going to weave, and we're going to go right up to that hairline and pull out. After we do that section, we're going to pull it right in there really tight. I want to make sure that her blonde is hitting right around the front of the hairline because that's where she wants to see more of her brightness. She wants that brightness to pop really well for the summer. We're not trying to take her overly too light, but just giving her that nice little oomph to her hair. Follow that in. Saturate through the ends. Now something else you guys can do if you want to like add on a nice service to your clients, anything like that. In between, you can take our new Reconstructive. If you find any of your clients are dry or just need more moisture for the winter, from the winter, add this in the middle of the section. So basically you're doing a treatment while you're doing your color. I mean, what can you lose from that, right? So that can sit on while your clients are still processing. So now that we've gotten to the front of her hair, I'm going to take it, because she kind of moves her hair back and forth a little bit with her sectioning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this little section piece out right here, right in front, on a nice diagonal. And I'm going to make sure that this is a bright piece around here. So taking it and basically kind of doing like a half a money piece in a way, but just in this framing alone. Making sure we're saturating all the way down and feathering up. All the way through and place down. So what I'll do right behind there is I'm going to go in with a very thin piece, pull it down, grab my 7C and 6C, and brighten that piece. After I do that, put another piece of foil, lay it on top, and then grab another fine piece, lay it down, and go right back to my powder decolorizer. Lay it through, making sure we're always saturating those ends. And here's another thing, if you guys ever feel that your brush is getting messy, grab another brush, very clean. I'll show you guys how to do that. Just always have a brush on hand. Grab a towel. Use this brush to feather through, and then make sure you clean it off from each blade. Cleaner concept, easy to work. Grab another piece of foil, lay it on top. Now here's the thing, another reason why I love tacking my foils on top of each other, because when the client's done and they see all these foils in the hair, they're thinking that, oh, they did so much, when really you didn't do as much as you think you did. Not that we're going to tell Chi that, but we want to make sure that concept stays in their mind. The more that they see, the bigger the impact they think they're going to have, but we're just not working as hard to create that big impact that they're going to see. So now we're going to work our way to the back, since you guys have seen the sides. Now in the back, I like to make sure I create a nice V section, like I'm doing a balayage. Okay? Yep, come around. If you guys can never see, just let my assistant Marquise know, and we can always move the camera around. So you guys can see we already have our V section in there. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through, weave. Again, working smarter, not harder. I'm gonna go through, tease that section, grab our powder decolorizer, and go through, set my product down, and kind of just paint through. Creating that V section. Then I'm going to grab my foil so that I can have nice saturation to the end. and paint all the way down. Remember, we're trying to create a nice, warm pop of color. Go through, phase up. That flick of the wrist really helps. Just keep flipping. So we're gonna go through, set that down, close it off. Now we're gonna go through, do another diagonal section. On this section, you're gonna see I'm gonna have you guys come in really close. We're gonna do a small weave, big weave, small weave, and end it with a big weave. Okay? After I have that nice weave pulled out, I'm gonna grab my foil, place it under. So now you guys can see we have our small weaves, our big weaves, really nice and clean looking. And then I'm going to grab our 7MC 16 with 30 volume, press it through, get that saturation. Now I have the option to either bring this all the way down to the ends or leave some of the ends out. On this section, I'm going to bring it all the way through the whole entire color. Anybody say anything, Marquise?
Julie said, I remember using Lonza products in college. I trained back in 91, 92.
91, 92, girl, get it. I love it. That is, I've been doing hair now for, I'm 22, so I've been doing hair for 16 years. So I love it. Anybody ask, I'm 22. So guys, remember, and we're gonna still do that same technique. After I saturate the ends, I'm gonna go through and just kind of feather that color right through. Just keeping that nice saturation going through. Do we have anybody else talking, Marquise?
No.
All right, so you guys see that section? Now on the next section.
Why would you leave ends out?
If I'm just trying to create a pop of color through the mid shafts to enhance the blonde, or depending on how many color tones I want. On Chi, a lot of times we're doing more than one color tone. So sometimes I'll go back and glaze that section with a different tone. So when I curl her hair or I blow out her hair, it looks very shuffled of different dimensions of colors. So it's like when the little kids have all those natural highlights. I really like to create that look on brunettes also. All right.
Also, using foil wasn't invented for hairdressers then. I trained using mesh.
Mesh?
Mm-hmm.
That is one thing I have not tried. See, now that's something you put an idea in my head, I have to try with mesh. So we're gonna go through this first section and we're going to lift, skip, lift, skip, lift, skip. So now we have some wire separated sections. So you guys saw, I'm always changing up the concept of where I'm laying it and how I'm placing it or what technique I'm using.
Petra says, I've been doing hair for 30 years. I love this technique.
Oh, who said that?
Petra?
Oh, thank you, honey. That's so sweet of you. I'm glad you guys are enjoying one of the reasons why I love educating is I'm able to share so many different concepts. I know we all basically do the same thing behind the chair, but we all do it different ways or have different ideas, and some things work better for others, and that's the great thing with sharing is caring. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna lay that powder decolorizer down right there in the mid shaft. And we're going to saturate those ends. So you saw the last piece I used powder decolorizer on. I did a V shaping and teased the hair back. This one I'm not doing the same thing. Remember, the more you customize your clients, the more money you can charge behind the chair. When you start getting more comfortable and all your clients look totally different, it speaks to the name of who you are as a stylist. One thing that was said to me a long time ago is that a big percentage of hairdressers use the same formula on the same clients a lot of times because they get so comfortable and safe with it. But here's the thing, if you never step outside your box, you're never gonna know what else you can do. So constantly, every time Chi is here, we're constantly changing her hair around. Now, that could be her decision or my decision. Most of the time, it's her decision because she never wants the same thing ever again. Is that right, Chi?
Right.
Right, and she won't answer that now. She won't have anybody on camera telling her that she never wants to keep her hair the same. So after we go through that next section, we're gonna work our way up. And on this section, we're going to take a nice slice. So see, just a nice mid-shaft, mid-section, not too thick, not too thin, just a nice section. Grab this piece out. Lay around, grab our 7NC 6C with 30 volume, and we're gonna go close as possible to that color retouch and feather in. Then we're gonna lay it all the way through. Anybody talking about anything, Marquise? We good?
We're good.
All right. So now you guys have seen this whole placement. And what I'm gonna do, when she's done processing, is I'll probably use a different couple Lanza liquids. If you have not worked with our Lanza liquids, it's something that you need to have in your salon or try soon. So after we do that, after she processes, I'll probably use usually I use about 2 or 3 different mixtures and tone throughout her hair. She'll have a different toner that she has here, than she has here, and that she has here. Remember again, you guys, the more you customize your color, the better it will look and the more you can charge. Step outside that realm, get uncomfortable, okay? So we're gonna saturate all the way down to the ends with that color and close it off. All right, so now you guys have seen the front section of what I do and the back section. We're gonna finish this off, and later on I'll be posting end results with her hair all nice and glazed and shiny. And a lot of times what I make sure I always do is end my clients with emergency service. So we will be doing that on Chi. Remember, the healthier the hair that looks with color, the better it stands out for your clients, the more clients you'll get. The better moisture that's in the color, the better look that you'll get from it. So remember, when your clients come in, make sure you give them everything. They need the treatments, they need the color service, and they need to make sure they're customizable to every client that sits in your chair. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you guys later. I will talk soon. Mwah. Much love, you guys.